You have now held events in all 99 of Iowa's counties. And yet, former President Trump is still 27 points ahead of you in the state. So, Governor, I have to ask you, are you committed to staying in this race through the Iowa caucuses?
Well, I'll tell you what, doing all 99 counties is a tradition here. It's something that Governor Reynolds advised that I do. And it's a way to, one, show that you're earning people's support. Two, it's a way to hear from real people. So we went everywhere. We showed up. We took questions. And we've been able to build a really incredible organization. We've got over 30,000 people that already committed to caucus for us. We're adding more every day. Of course, we have the endorsement by the great governor here, Kim Reynolds, and it's only going to build for here. And we look forward to being victorious on January 15th.
Ron DeSantis was feeling pretty good about covering all 99 counties in Iowa for his long shot bid to be the Republican candidate over Trump. But he refused to let Kristen Welker kill his vibe by asking about him dropping out. So she tried again.
So just to be clear, you are committed to staying in the race through the caucuses?
Of course I am. I mean, it's absurd that I wouldn't be. If you look at past Iowa caucus winners and compare to what, people were saying in November with this poll or that poll, it almost never comes out the same way. So we have a great base of support. We have a much wider base of people who are potential caucus goers who believe that I've been a great governor and would be a good president. And we've just got to bring that home. I think you're going to see on caucus night people's voice be heard.
Asked and answered. It's absurd that I wouldn't be in the race through the Iowa caucuses. He's in it for the long haul, he says. There's nothing that would tell Team DeSantis to drop out, unless that person is Kristen Welker.
Well, let's talk about the stakes on caucus night. If you don't come in at least second, would you then drop out of the race? How critical is Iowa?
Well, we're going to win the caucus. We're doing everything that we need to do it.
But what if you don't, Governor?
Support.
What if you don't?
And I've said from the beginning, we're going to win. We're going to win the caucus. But even apart from that, there have been people that have won Iowa and not won the nomination, and vice versa. You need to win a majority of the delegates, and so we're committed to doing that through the whole process to win the majority of the delegates. There's a lot of things that happen. I mean, even 2 months ago, the field looked a lot different than it does now. I think the field will look different on caucus night.
Okay, I get the impression that Ron DeSantis is in this thing through the Iowa caucuses, that he's comfortable with the momentum that they're building, and in fact, he plans on winning in Iowa. Maybe Christie, Nikki Haley, and Ramaswamy will all drop out by then. So, moving on to the next question, Ms. Welker.
Bottom line, is Iowa do or die for you, Governor?
We're going to win Iowa. I think it's going to help propel us to the nomination, but I think we'll have a lot of work that we'll have to do beyond that. I don't think you take anything for granted, and I do recognize that there have been people that have wanted who've not gone on to win the nomination. I think this year's a little bit different. I think the field has narrowed quicker. I think it's going to narrow even more, and ultimately Republican voters are going to have the choice of Donald Trump, which I think would make the election a referendum on him and a lot of the issues that he's dealing with, or me, and that will be a referendum on Biden's failures.
Kristen Welker doesn't seem convinced that Ron DeSantis has a chance at catching Trump. It's an opinion that most people have, but I can't imagine she expected him on the fourth round of asking if he's tired of losing enough to just go away. You really can't expect anyone at any time to say that they'll lose. Even Ted Cruz put on a brave face back in 2015 before succumbing to his injuries and serving the guy that humiliated him too.
It's not easy to tick me off. I don't get angry often. But you mess with my wife, you mess with my kids, that'll do it every time. Donald, you're a sniveling coward, and leave Heidi the hell alone.
So will you support him as the nominee?
I'm going to beat him.
Hi, this is Ted Cruz calling. I was calling to encourage you to come out and vote on Election Day. Just wanted to encourage you to come out and vote. Thank you, and God bless you.
So, after half of this interview was over, we finally established that Ron DeSantis is not crazy enough to tell Meet the Press that half of his bags are already packed and ready to be shipped home to Florida once he's done getting his ass whooped in Iowa. But maybe Kristen Welker did know something that I didn't about DeSantis' standard of not answering her questions. Because even though he clearly answered about staying in the race, the plan for the rest of his appearance apparently was to avoid talking about how out of touch he and his party is on the issue of abortion.
One of the big issues that came up during your debate with Governor Gavin Newsom, abortion. Governor Newsom asked if you would sign a 6-week national ban if you were president. You still have not answered that question. So let me ask you again here now. If you were elected president, would you sign a 6-week national ban if it came to your desk?
I've actually answered the question a bunch of times. So Florida has protections when there's a heartbeat. Other states have done it differently. This is something that's going to be done in a bottom-up way. I recognize that. I'm here in Iowa, where they have a heartbeat bill. I'll be going to New Hampshire at the beginning of next week. They obviously are not going to do that. They're going to approach it differently. We understand that. But I do think every state has a responsibility to have some limit into how they're doing it.
He claims he answered the question, but he opted to discuss what different states are planning to do with the issue of abortion instead of his stance and his party's goal to eliminate people's rights to just choose nationwide. He ended up looking like he agrees with the nationwide ban, but's too afraid to say so. He can't say yes, or else he'll be admittedly against the will of the vast majority of Americans, which he is. But he also can't say no, or else he'll be called a super lib by Republican voters, dashing his chances of closing that 45-point gap with Donald Trump. So he just avoided again and again. But I'm not sure his strategy of going on Sunday shows to not answer questions is going to do much to move those numbers very far.
I understand, but you signed a 6-week ban in the state of Florida, so voters want to know. People of Iowa want to know. Where do you stand on this issue? Would you sign a 6-week federal ban if it came to your desk, if you were president?
But we signed a legislation to stand for a culture of life that was done by the Florida legislature. I mean, this was them bringing the will of the people there. Well, Congress is not going to do any type of abortion legislation. And part of me promoting a culture of life is to do things that are achievable and that obviously would have consensus. No taxpayer funding for abortion. We're going to eliminate the abortion tourism policy of the Department of Defense, and we're going to protect the rights of states to enact pro-life protection.